Records show in the year before the California Coastal Commission did this in October 2015,
The vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
there were closed-door meetings that led up to the Coastal Commission giving Southern California Edison its blessing to store 3.6 million pounds of nuclear waste at San Onofre. Documents show Edison representatives and Coastal Commission staff met at least 3 times. September 26, 2014, January 14, 2015, and July 1, 2015. Records also reveal they traded scores of emails. Edison reps and Coastal Commission staffers discussed drawings for the waste storage, the process and timeline, and opposition to the project.
I mean, it has no concern for the public.
Consumer lawyer Mike Aguirre has sued the Commission and Edison to get the permit to store the waste at San Onofre overturned.
They were in partnership with each other, and the public was completely closed off from the process.
Edison's plan to hold the waste at the plant site just about 100 feet from the sea was an idea that drew fierce criticism at the time from activists, including Ray Lutz, who had citizens oversight.
It's really astonishing that this is the way business is done.
KPBS reached out to Edison for comment. They responded with, quote, "We must decline your interview request," and then cited ongoing settlement talks over possibly moving the waste off-site. They did, however, suggest, quote, "The Coastal Commission may be a good resource." In a statement, a Coastal Commission spokeswoman said contacts are common and, quote, "especially for more complicated projects such as this." She also said, quote, "To allow the general public to attend such informal meetings would in many cases make them unmanageable. As for the closed-door sessions, they're legal." And Mesa College political science professor Carl Luna says transparency means that the decision-making process, which started in those private meetings, requires that the public be invited.
So you would think, just for a good public policy discussion, you would bring everybody in to recognize the short-term and the long-term costs that you're leaving buried there for our kids and our grandkids and maybe the great-great-grandkids.
The Coastal Commission spokeswoman, however, points out that Edison held at least 5 public outreach meetings to discuss waste storage. Still, the public was excluded from the private sessions between Edison and the Coastal Commission.
We will go to public comment, and speakers will have 2 minutes.
In fact, the public was only brought in when Edison's pitch to keep the nuclear waste at San Onofre went before the panel for a decision in October 2015. And while Edison and Coastal Commission staff had 1 year to prepare for that meeting, the public was given 1 week notice of the session. Soon after, Aguirre says opponents expressed their discontent through emails to the commission.
There was a volcano of objections, and they flowed into the Coastal Commission staff, and the Coastal Commission staff kind of joked about it with Southern California Edison.
Documents also reveal a commission staffer described the opposition emails in his own email to an Edison representative as, quote, formulaic. The Edison employee replied with, quote, "Please don't waste your time if you're forwarding repetitive subject matter." Edison's private talks didn't stop with staff. They went all the way to the top. Just before the Coastal Commission signed off on Edison's plan to store the nuclear waste at San Onofre, commissioners themselves disclosed their own private talks. Here's Commissioner Greg Cox at the October 2015 meeting.
On October 2nd at 3:30 in the afternoon, I had a meeting in my office. Actually, it was meeting in my office with David Nish, and he was speaking on behalf of Southern California Edison.
Commissioner Cox was hardly the exception. Documents show more than a dozen other private conversations were held between commissioners and Edison representatives ahead of the crucial vote. Amita, Sharma, KPBS News.